Welcome to SEC Football Live here on the 440 Sports Network. That is Trey Wallace of Outkick. I am Braden Gall, and I don't know if either of us is 100%, but neither is Brian Kelly or Mark Stoops or Hugh Freeze or maybe even Shane Beamer or Billy Napier or Sam Pittman. Who knows what's going on? Trey, good morning, sir. How you feeling, my guy? Mid-season form.
I feel like I got ran over by a train. I am on the SEC availability report this week. It has maybe questionable for Saturday. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm good.
Would that be the lane train?
I'm not trying to throw out, that would be I need to go to the Velvet Ditch sometime before the season ends. That situation.
Well, obviously, we will discuss what happened at LSU, why is Brian Kelly fired, and what direction Scott Woodward or what direction LSU is going to go. I've got a bunch of names, and I think it's easy to talk about LSU, easier than even Florida or Penn State, because as we talked last week, it's the best job, I think, clearly. I think It is clearly the best job. So I think it's easier to discuss this. And if you're a high-level coaching candidate, I think you start with LSU and you decide, is this the thing I want or not? And then work your way down from there. The dominoes could be extraordinary, as this could open Ole Miss, it could open Auburn, it could open Missouri, it could open a bunch of other schools across the country as well, which then could lead to more dominoes. So with Florida, Penn State, and LSU open, it's a lot of fun if you like coaching rumors, as it were, like you and I tend to do.
Right. Well, there's a lot of leverage also. Like a lot of coaches right now, that are currently sitting at certain schools. They're going to find their way into raises. They're going to find their way into contract extensions. But at the same time, you have to wonder how many of these schools that are having this situation right now with the coaching are going to decide, hey, let's just punt on 2025 because there's probably going to be 33 openings in college football. So let's just say, okay, we don't need to make this choice right now because and we talked about this before, who's the home run candidate? Who you're going to have to make concessions to be able to go out and find somebody.
What's fascinating about that is, to your point, there's a lot of names I really like. We'll get to all of them. We'll discuss what is going to be a great weekend of college football. We got Tennessee Ole Miss. Welcome to the Tennessee Ole Miss. We got Tennessee Oklahoma. Vandy at Texas. Welcome to the playoff party. Vanderbilt Commodores. Missouri. Can they survive? March Manning is concussion protocol right now, so we're not sure about that. Auburn at home against Kentucky is a 10.5-point favorite. Does that is that a win or go home for you, Freeze?
That's a winner. That car is going to be in the shop Monday morning.
Oh, by the way, cocktail party again, just sort of like happening, and no one's really paying attention to it happening. But what's interesting about what you said, M.L. Rose, by the way, please, 7 great locations, soon to be 8 in Middle Tennessee, your neighborhood pub. Great beer, great burgers, great drink specials, a wing deal on Saturdays for you SEC football fans. So if you're coming to town, it is a great place to watch games and get good quality food. And most of the time, they've got free parking, too, all over the place at all their different locations. So
can't beat that. I was paying up the wazoo in Nashville for parking last weekend.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat that, along with the 15,000 Missouri fans that made the trek.
Best, it's funny. So my kids had a soccer tournament in Murfreesboro, the Music City Invitational, and there were a ton of teams from like Louisville and like Birmingham, but St. Louis everywhere. And I was like, oh, you folks looked at the schedule, got your youth soccer tournament in, and then in the middle of it dipped out and went up to the Vandy, Missouri game.
No, you know what that is? Like, that's the head coach that runs the program. That's a big Missouri fan who found Murfreesboro on the calendar. And he was like, oh wait, I can get this whole trip paid for.
Soon to be home of the 8th M.L. Rose location out there in Murfreesboro. So expanding the empire all over Middle Tennessee, the best ranch dipping sauce, fantastic place. Go to M.L. Rose. But the thing that stood out, so you're talking about how like there's not a home run hire, and I think the thing we need to say is that we don't know who the home run hire is going to be.
Agreed.
Like I think, and we'll get to all of these names because I'm not. This is not you and I, at least from my perspective. This is not us reporting on these names. To me, this is breaking down strategy decisions by LSU and Florida and Arkansas in particular in the context of the other programs that are coaching searches. By the way, 10 jobs open before November is a high watermark. I think since before 2010, it's the highest number in at least 15 years. in college football. But here's what's interesting.
We got 2 days, by the way. Can somebody else want to get fired in the next 2 days? Yeah.
Hard to do midweek, but you never know. Whatever's going on at the golf course with Hugh, he'll let us know. So what's interesting?
Brian Kelly's been playing a lot of golf too. Didn't mean to cut you off, but we're starting to hear stories now.
When I look at the list of coaches, and to your point about there not being home run elite hires, again, Saban, Meyer notwithstanding, let's say, Dan Lanning, Lane Kiffin notwithstanding. Again, I think there are home run hires. We just don't know who they are. If maybe John Summerall is a home run hire. I think he would be, but point is, I'm looking at this list going, who's a pretty good coaching candidate? Brian Kelly and James Franklin. Billy Napier. Billy Napier is worthy of getting one of these G5 jobs after somebody opens. Like, he'd be a good coach at Tulane. So
there it is. That's exactly where I was going. It's like when Summerall leaves, he just flows right back into the state of Louisiana. Like, it would fit.
Doesn't that, to me, that's illustrative of the problem that two of the guys who just got fired are actually among the better candidates for most other jobs, and maybe not LSU and Penn State, but for most other jobs. I think that crystallizes the coaching carousel situation that we're in right now.
Do you think, though, with Brian Kelly, because I know we're going to discuss all this, but do you think Brian Kelly is a little too nuclear right now for certain programs? Like, there are going to be some that are ready to take a chance on just about anybody that would be a splash.
If Michigan State fires Jonathan Smith, like, why wouldn't you go after a guy like Brian Kelly? Like, won a championship in the state at a lower level. Like, I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm just saying, there are certain programs where Brian Kelly is the perfect amount of nuclear. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't it have been a hell of a lot easier for Brian Kelly? I'm not saying he would have done this, but it is what it is. Like, when the Penn State job opened up, like, have your name started floating around so much with Penn State where you can have an easy break and say, okay, I'm going to Nittanyville.
I mean,
and I'm leaving Baton Rouge. I mean, it's just like, I agree with what you're saying, and I think there are certain names that would fit. Like, somebody floated to me yesterday, like, would Brian Kelly work at Arkansas? And I was like, I thought that immediately. I was like, it could. Like, you're gonna have to sell that in an interesting way, but I mean, it could. Like, does he just try his, United States tour and go out to UCLA, like Stanford? Like I think his shtick plays well at Wisconsin. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I could see. Yes, that's something that's a viable opportunity. But I'm just like, the James Franklin name to me is the most intriguing right now. I understand, and I'm talking about coaches that have been fired, because James Franklin, I think, could work at like 3 jobs in the SEC. Obviously. So that's where we're going here. Is there are going to be plenty of opportunities. I think it's just about which school wants to make that PR hire. So. Yeah, no, I agree. So let's get into before we get into the candidates. By the way, thumbs up, notifications turned on if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter. We do appreciate you guys. Please share the product. Get you guys in here. If you want to ask comments or ask about a candidate for LSU, Florida, or Arkansas, or any other job, please do so. We'd love to have you guys into the comment section. So I know we're at a different time today. This might be our new time slot. I don't know, Trey. What do you think? Like, new time slot Wednesday mornings. We'll react to the playoff rankings, which are coming out very soon in the next couple of weeks. One week, bro. That's crazy.
Next week, ML Rose, baby, ML Rose. And here's the thing about it, Brian Kelly. I just want to do this for just a minute or two, not long, which is sort of like, where did it go wrong? Because if you look at the list of things you're supposed to do as a coach, and like he did a lot of them, outside of sort of like maybe understand the culture of the people around him, which is important, but like,
which is, by the way, hard to do in Baton Rouge too. Like, it's not easy. So,
but sorry. It doesn't. Yeah. No, but it doesn't. It doesn't. I've said this all along. Fit doesn't mean a damn thing if you win a bunch of games. And it's not like this guy lost. He was 34-14. He had a Heisman Trophy winner and the best offense in the history of the program, and that includes 2019. He was good at hiring. I think he did an excellent job hiring a defensive staff to rework the defense and to fix that part of his team, which was the worst in school history and is now one of the best in the country 2 years later. He figured out how to sort of stir up the boosters and the dollars and the cents of it all to get the money in the collective pouring into the roster. His 3 losses this year are to top 10 teams. 2 of them were close.
Right.
And again, I get it. This was the
year
dam
broke on Saturday. But
right. And the second half was ugly. It was ugly. And their arrival And so when you lose at home in ugly fashion to a rival, I get it. That is broke. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back all the time. I hear you. I'm not saying they shouldn't have fired him, but it's not like LSU was terrible here.
Correct. And at the same time, they were last year competing, and then the receipts that folks have when Brian Kelly said at the podium following the Oklahoma win last year, where he said, we'll see you guys in the national championship in 2025. I'm like, okay, like that better come to fruition, or you better be in contention. It's like we always talk about.
Does anyone care? Sorry to interrupt. Does anyone care what anyone else had to say 5 months ago?
No, and that's the most interesting part about this is if you're not, and we talked about this with Jimbo back when he was fired. If you're not in playoff contention, I think things have obviously sped up, over the last few years. But if you're not in playoff contention by the first week of November, maybe it's time to start moving your program in a different direction. So I just look. I think Brian Kelly did a decent job at LSU. I think everything kind of just broke this season. And then you add everything in the background to it, what's going on, because there's a lot of stuff in the background that's going on that will come out that I'm working on coming out. But at the same time,
and you can't say anything.
You got well, not right at the moment, maybe tomorrow. You've got an AD,
well,
by the way.
We know the coach doesn't get along great with the administration.
Yeah, but I'm getting at to this problem with the LSU athletic department. Like, is Scott Woodward going to be the guy that hires the next coach? Is Scott Woodward the guy that they think can lead them into the future? Remember, at LSU, like it's a chain of command down there, man. They don't have a sitting president. Like it is. You got the governor getting involved on Sunday.
The governor's involved.
Like, buddy, like that doesn't happen in most states. Like, let's just be honest. In all of college football, where the governor is holding a meeting at 6 o'clock Sunday night at the governor's mansion with everybody at the big table. And it's like something of like a cult movie.
There's a hat.
Put your hand up.
They're passing the hat. Like, oh, drop a few mil in here. You got a few mil. You got a few mil. Okay, well,
there were preachers Sunday morning at church passing around the offering plate, and half of that was going to Brian Kelly. So, welcome.
They're collecting all the parish proceeds.
Yes, that's exactly right. We're going to get away from taking from the hospitals. We're going to now go from the church.
And again, he built up the hype, to your point. Not like, again, in 2025, in our world where it's immediate attention, nothing you say a week ago matters, much less 10 months ago, in my opinion. I mean,
agreed.
I don't think anybody can argue that. But like, he did build up the expectation. They build up the hype with the roster and the spending. They have the returning senior quarterback who defers the NFL draft to come back. Their preseason top 10, like the whole thing was there, and the offense looks terrible.
A better defense, by the way.
And the defense looks terrible. And some of the personnel moves were very good. Like it's not like he made terrible personnel moves. So again, this is, to me, Penn State and LSU are doing the thing that Georgia did when they fired Mark Richt. And that is, you got a coach who's pretty darn good, who has a proven track record of a certain level of success, 9-10 wins,
right,
and gonna recruit about a top 10 class every year. And the bullseye you're trying to aim for above Mark Richt, Brian Kelly, and James Franklin is extremely small. Yes. And Georgia kind of got forced into that decision because Kirby was going to take the South Carolina job. And they're like, whoa. We can't let a Saban acolyte alumni leave and go coach against us. Let's take him now. And it worked because he recruits top 5 classes and wins 12 games, not 10 games in top 10 classes. And so that is what LSU is shooting for. And that's what Penn State is shooting for. Is Matt Rule better than James Franklin? I don't think so, but maybe. The point is, it's a really small bullseye. And the question is, you have to start. Now let's get into candidates here. The question is, I think Lane Kiffin is a better fit, quote unquote, at Florida. He's more Spurrier than he is Nick Saban. But I think LSU's the better job. And so if you're Lane Kiffin, ultimately what matters here is not money. It is not the amount of dollars on your contract, because Ole Miss and Florida and LSU can all pay about the same amount. This is about
it's NIL money.
Well, it's also, do I think I can win a national championship at Ole Miss, or do I need to go somewhere bigger?
And also, can you compete for that national championship on a yearly basis? Not take a year off to reset, on a yearly basis. To me, that's what stands out even more in this situation. And that's why I said NIL money, because you have to be set up on a yearly basis where, okay, we're not taking this year off when it comes to the portal. We're going to splash in a little bit of high school recruiting. Like, I don't disagree with you that Kiffin fits more in Gainesville. I would imagine his family would love to be in Gainesville compared to Baton Rouge. That's not a shot at Baton Rouge. That's reality, because all the damn family is in Florida in that area. Like,
I would personally prefer Baton Rouge over Gainesville.
I would go Baton Rouge as well, but maybe that's just because I'm from the Gulf Coast. I think that also at the same time,
Gainesville sucks.
You've got a great situation in Oxford, and he's got the co-parenting going on with Layla. Landry's there, Knox is in school, like their other daughter is out at USC. Like, I get it. Like, it is set up. And by the way, Keith Carter and Ole Miss have done everything Lane has asked. Everything. And he will get paid by Ole Miss. Like, I'm sure right now, I'm not going to report this, but I'm sure, guessing, there's a contract for about $13 million sitting in Jimmy Sexton's hands, waiting to be signed.
But again, it's not about. It's about all that stuff you said.
Again, it's not about money.
All the stuff you said is what he is valuing right now, which is the community and sort of like how he's the big fish in the small pond, but he's kind of left alone in the corner of the pond over there, and he's got his family there. All that stuff. The job's ability, LSU or Florida, to win a national championship has to be, in his mind, so much greater than Ole Miss for him to take the job. And if he was flirting with Auburn, I don't know why LSU wouldn't go to LSU.
Because he was close to that Auburn job, like really close. I think that also at the same time, we have seen now you can compete for a national championship at Ole Miss on a yearly basis.
I don't know about that.
And there's a difference.
I don't know about that.
Hear me out here.
You can compete for a playoff spot.
When I say national championship, I'm talking about having the opportunity to play for a title. That opportunity is getting into the playoffs every single year and having that roster that you can make a run with. Are we going to sit here and say like Indiana is equipped enough to compete for a national championship on every year? No, but they can get into the playoff.
Well, but that's ultimately, I think, the difference between Ole Miss, and I think this is ultimately the question he asked. Only he can answer. The difference between LSU and Ole Miss and Florida and Ole Miss is that Ole Miss can, at its best, compete for playoff spots most years. At its best, will it ever have the roster that you have to have, like Ohio State last year, to win 4 games in the playoff against other teams like Ohio State, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, etc.? And I don't know the answer to that, Trey. I don't think Ole Miss does. I know LSU does, and I know Florida can. I don't know if Ole Miss can, and only Lane can answer that question.
Right. He's going to sit there and he's going to look at the roster. He's going to sit there and he's going to look at the backing of the administration and figure out they can put this whole thing together at each stop. And do I think he can? I do. And I think like a lot of people have been asking the question, what has Lane Kiffin done to be in consideration for these jobs at such a high mark? And I look at the fact that what he's done at Ole Miss, like I honestly, over these last 6 seasons, he's had his team in contention to be at that next spot. So what you're getting at is if you get just a little bit more help and you get a program that has a consistent roster that is up to the standard of Ohio State and Oregon, and I could go on and on with maybe 3 or 4 more schools, then you can compete for that title.
I agree with that point. No, I agree with that point. Really, the sentence that struck me there is if you can get a little bit more help. And the story around Oxford was that they were tapped out last year, right? Meaning they did everything they possibly could from a resource standpoint to push all the chips to the middle of the table, and they got the roster that they wanted, and it wasn't good enough. And so that's my issue. Like, remember his comments after the Georgia game a couple years ago, where they got destroyed in Athens, and he just steps to the podium. He's like, don't have enough 5 stars. That is the same reason Brian Kelly left Notre Dame to go to LSU in the first place. And Notre Dame is a way better program on the field, upside-wise, than Ole Miss is. And Brian Kelly was like, I can't win a national championship at Notre Dame with these players in this pond I'm recruiting in. I got to go to the bigger one, the swamp, down there in where the family is.
Down there on the bayou.
And so ultimately, it's what do I value? Do I value the lifestyle that I've settled into that is better than any lifestyle I've ever had with my family and my situation, and compete for a playoff spot. And maybe
probably going to be better, by the way, than Gainesville or Baton Rouge.
Totally. Well, I love Baton Rouge, but that's me. That's me.
I know
personally.
that, but I'm not talking about just the city. I'm talking about in general. Like,
yeah.
Life is probably a lot better in Oxford than it's going to be in Baton Rouge or Gainesville.
I tend to agree. with you. But for most people, I agree with you. And so, and compete for playoff spots. And maybe 1 year we get the quarterback and the defensive line and the offensive line and the schedule, and it all lines up, and we're healthy enough going into the tournament that we have talent to win 4 straight games against, Big 12 champion, and then Oregon, and then Georgia, and then beat Ohio State in the title game. And
yes.
maybe. Again, my guess on that is have never seen it, and I'm not picking it. But I know that LSU and Florida can do it. So let me.
Go.
Do you think he leaves ultimately Ole Miss to go to one of those 2 jobs? I think he does.
I really love how you put me on the spot here.
I think he does.
I think right now I'm leaning towards he's staying.
Okay.
There's something about Lane Kiffin that he knows that if he turns down LSU in Florida, he will be talked about for the rest of his life if he can somehow make it work in Oxford and win a title.
He's already close to statue territory.
Brother.
No, that is the calculus.
He could say, I can do it here. I'm going to go win a title here. And all I need is 1. I don't need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 1.
That's the Kurt Signetti. I'm going to stay at Indiana. I'm Matt Campbell. I'm going to stay at Iowa State. I'm going to stay places because they can invest in me, and I want to become the statue guy. I want to be the guy they build a statue out of. I don't have to win a national title to get a statue.
But I also think it's a little bit deeper for Kiffin than the whole statue thing, and that's just a personal opinion. I think it's more or less let's try to finish this thing. I think I think I can be the guy that really puts Ole Miss in that legendary category and again, like I said, all they need is 1 win, 1 title. So I get it, man. I get it. But we have both seen how crazy it is in Gainesville and Baton Rouge. Guys, they just fired Brian Kelly. Florida can't get a damn hire right.
Ole Miss is nowhere near firing Lane Kiffin.
No.
Well, let me ask you. I got a lot of names here, so I want to go.
You have to go wreck the Lexus again for that to happen.
Is there anybody? Is there anybody that you call before Lane Kiffin? I would call Dan Lanning before Lane Kiffin.
I'm calling Dan Lanning and I'm calling Marcus Freeman. Before.
Okay.
By the way.
Okay.
I've already talked to Jimmy Sexton about Nick Saban.
Well, and I don't think. Well, I mean, I'm kind of taking Saban and Meyer out of the equation because I think if the 2 of them are interested, you don't have to call them; they call you, and they go, "Yeah."
Jimmy just lets them know.
Yeah. So the point is there anybody out there currently coaching that you make tell you no before you go to Lane Kiffin? And I honestly think I think I might go Lane over Marcus, but I know why you said that, especially LSU where. You can't hire the Notre Dame coach, I don't think, 2 years in a row. But that's a dumb reason not to hire.
You could damn well try. I mean, if they're putting out winners, and also with the Lanning situation.
He said no to Alabama, so.
Right. You have to make those 2 calls, make them say no, and that's fine. If you got to circle back, you can circle back. But again, we are in an age where money is not going to drive a lot of these decisions by these coaches. It's can I win, and am I going to have a stable job for 3 to 4 years?
So I want to say a name, and I want you to sort of think through LSU, Florida, and Arkansas. Now, there's another wrinkle in all of this, or a few different wrinkles, which is that is the seat getting hot in South Carolina, and does Shane Beamer view this as his only opportunity, which I've said, this is the only opportunity he will ever get, in my opinion, to coach at Virginia Tech. And if he wants to do that, this is his only chance to do it. And, oh, by the way, coming off a very disappointing season where maybe the natives are a little restless in Columbia. Also, Hugh Freeze, a couple of losses away from being in the exact same situation as Brian Kelly with no progress in year number 3. Billy Napier, same thing. Mark Stoops has the buyout, but is also, as we've seen, $50+ million for Brian Kelly, $49 million for Franklin. Who knows? Maybe $30 million is fine for Kentucky.
I think Stoops is gone. I think that they're going to work out that buyout.
So if we want to include, let's just, for the sake of fun,
Okay.
We're going to have LSU, Florida, Auburn, South Carolina, Arkansas, and Kentucky.
Jeez.
I want to say a bunch of names, and I want you to tell me what you like about the guy and where would he fit in those 5 or 6 jobs. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
So Eli, and because we could have Missouri and Ole Miss open as well.
This domino ripple effect, bro, is about to go down. Like, I'm just telling you.
Lane to either LSU or Florida, or Drinkwitz to either LSU or Florida makes the most sense.
And it also starts the domino effect. Like,
okay, Dan Mullen to Ole Miss. What do you think?
I think he knows how to recruit the state. I think he would win games at Ole Miss. I think that, holy hell, that I would, you know what? I would actually pay a little bit of some of my salary just to see it, because I'd love to see that Egg Bowl with Dan Mullen on the other sideline. If we're just talking about straight coach and being able to do it, I think he could go win at Ole Miss. I do.
Yeah.
But I think the better fit is Arkansas.
Okay. I mean, he's cut from a very similar Kiffin cloth. Like, I'm great on game day. I'm a great offensive schemer. I like to troll a little bit. Holier than thou.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
John Sumrall at Tulane. Where do you like him landing the most?
LSU. I mean, that would be my preference. Sorry. Let me phrase that the right way. I think John Sumrall could go 70 miles just a little bit north and go win at LSU. I do. But they're not.
Do you like that for LSU?
I do. I honestly think it would, but it's not going to happen. I'm not trying to go out there and say this is happening. So don't go crazy on social media, folks. But if we really had to break it down, here's how the domino would fall with that one. Lane leaves Oxford. Summerall goes to Ole Miss and takes over and continues that little train, because I think Kentucky is missed out. There's no reason why John Summerall right now should go to Kentucky. And that's no offense, Kentucky fans, but y'all missed that shit too.
Auburn.
That's the other one. That's the other one.
But that's such an opposite Auburn thing to do, like hire a really smart, like foundationally building coach. That sounds like something like smart programs do.
Right. But it could also say the same thing for like James Franklin going to one of these schools. So those are my two.
What do you make of Kenny Dillingham, Arizona State? That's his alma mater. It's going to be hard to pull him. Like Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, going to be hard to pull the guy away from his alma mater.
Yeah, there is only a certain amount of fits for Dillingham in the SEC, and
he's more of a Florida State. I feel like he's more of a Florida State guy.
Florida State. I would say, like, if South Carolina opens up, South Carolina would be a fit for him.
Yep.
Like, that could be the one. But I don't see Kenny as much. I know he has ties and whatnot. Like, the coaching tree goes deep with these guys. Auburn, could be something, but
a guy really
one of those fits.
A guy I really like at Kentucky or Arkansas, Pat Fitzgerald.
Oh, people forgetting about old Pat. Like, he's going to make a return to coaching. It's just which school is going to take a chance on him.
He'd be good at UCLA.
He'd be good at UCLA. He'd be hella good at Stanford.
Yeah.
You got to know how to handle the academics. You got to know how to handle the football. Like,
is Joe Brady an option? Buffalo Bills coordinator.
That's where it gets interesting to me when it comes to these OC spots. I could, again, I'll throw out a school like Arkansas. I'll throw out a school like Kentucky. Would he make it like at Auburn or LSU?
LSU, only reason it would work is because of his ties to the 2019 team.
That's exactly right. I just don't see that. Now, if they have to go down that path, like, okay, you got to make a decision. But I just don't see it, like, straight up. If you ask me right now, I don't see it at the moment.
It's a very uninspiring hire, but it's a guy who would just straight up build a program and win games, and that is Willie Fritz at Houston. He is a fantastic football coach.
He would go win games in the Southeastern Conference. I'm not saying he's going to compete for a playoff spot every single year, but he would go win games.
If I'm Arkansas or Kentucky or South Carolina, like South Carolina, to me, hiring Willie Fritz is the exact opposite of everything you've tried, and it'll work because of that. I feel like.
I agree, but again, I'm curious to see these decision makers. And again, you also, by the way, you're not swinging for the fences every single time at some of these schools. Like, you're going to have to concede that you're going G6, OC, DC type of hire. But yes, and James Franklin's out there.
Is Jed Fish an option? He's a Florida grad at Florida. Is that even? Washington's doing good things right now.
Keep him up in Washington.
Washington could be 10-2 by the end of the year. Big guy.
That's fine, but I mean, his wife is going
right.
to hang out in Tucson and not make the trip anywhere that his husband does. Her husband does.
How about? I think a home run hire, but I think he's too good for Kentucky, Arkansas, or South Carolina. I think he's in the Florida, Penn State, LSU conversation, but he's not the top of the list. But I think he's a guy that would be absolutely phenomenal. Jeff Brom, Louisville.
Agreed, 100%. 100%. And you have to know what you're getting into with Jeff Brom. Like, he is not going to be the guy that shows up at the booster events and holds the baby and takes the photos and goes out there and kisses ass for 3 hours.
Coach.
Right, for 3 hours on a Wednesday night. Don't bother him. He's in the football facility. Just go let him win. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not having wine night at the house, Brian Kelly.
I think he'd be a hell of a hire at Florida.
I do too.
Offense, quarterback, develop guy. Like, knows what he's doing. Again, at his alma mater, so you're going to have to pry him away. But I think Brom Brom is a name that's very high on my list for these guys.
But I'm going to throw this out. I think I said this to you like 2 weeks ago. Some of these ADs are going to hit a double or a triple. They're going to try to sell it as a home run. But guys like me and you, and I'm not being an ass when I say this, we know that those would be the right coaches to go in there and try to fix a program. Like, if you told Florida fans right now, hey, we're going to go sign Jeff Brom, they'd be like, the hell you are? Wait a
minute. Matt Campbell calls and is interested in an SEC job. What job are you putting him at?
I don't know. He's been trying, his name's, we float his name out there every single year because he shows just a little interest. And I get a phone call from his rep saying he might be interested.
I think it's Kentucky.
Really? This year?
Kentucky's the one where he fits, I think.
Kentucky would be a fit. But I could see Auburn being a fit for Matt Campbell.
Ooh. Another Iowa State coach you're going to hire. Gene Chizik.
I'm just saying he could be a fit. Okay. He knows how to run a program.
I know we've already talked about Alex Golish to Arkansas.
Does that feel like that's kind of dimmed a little bit?
It has.
Like Golish?
I think Ryan Silverfield, the Memphis win over Alex Golish, who is kind of consistently just overachieved at Memphis, quietly though. They're building something interesting at Memphis in terms of the facilities and the FedEx money and where they're going to be located. They are trying to be the most expensive and most resourced G5 team, like them in Tulane, basically.
I mean,
at Arkansas, does that fit at Arkansas? I think he's a fit.
It does fit at Arkansas. But at the same time, Memphis is so damn confusing, man. They go down to UAB and they lose, and they turn around, they beat South Florida, which the G5, G6. I mean, obviously that's it's a tough situation. But I think it would be a fit. I think he'd be more of a fit if he could do it again next year.
I think that's fair. He's had some good seasons there.
Some schools might punt. That's what I'm getting at with some of these schools might punt. But go ahead.
Lashley obviously is tied to Arkansas, but he might get a bigger offer through all of this. SMU is having a season I think we kind of expected, which is a step back, but they're still solid. Lots of money there. State of Texas is a very nice place to be. Is that a guy that's in the running for Florida, a Florida-type job?
I think Rhett Lashley would do wonders in Fayetteville. I don't think Rhett Lashley would do – I'm not saying he couldn't win at Florida. I'm not trying to downgrade his coaching or anything like that. I think he would – I just think Fayetteville would be the spot. Like, would Auburn be something like that? Well, here's what you're doing if you're like Auburn doing that. You're going out and hiring Gus Malzahn again. Or you're going out and hiring Hugh Freeze again.
I mean, Gus Malzahn, best Auburn I've seen in the last 20 years.
Exactly.
Matt Rule, interesting to you at all? Jeff Monken at Army, Brett Key at Georgia Tech. I'm not – none of those names are – Lance Leipold, Chris Kleiman in the Kansas schools. I'm not super inspired by any of that.
No, here's where I'll get you here. I'm very interested in this weekend when it comes to Matt Rule, meaning if he loses another ranked game and it's USC this weekend, does the temperature kind of drop a little bit? Like Penn State's up here interviewing OC candidates right now, just giving out interviews as prep work to some folks. Brian Hartline. So like does that work? Like, are they just sitting around and waiting for Rule? But again, the longer you go, you catch a few more L's from the public perception. That's what I'm getting at, and that's why. Whatever
he needs. What he needs is a late flourish here. Wins a few games, gets to 9-3, and then takes the Penn State job.
Yes, bingo.
Former Penn State linebacker, by the way. M.L. Rose, everybody. M.L. Rose, 7 great locations, soon to be 8 in the Middle Tennessee area. Home to your playoff contending Vanderbilt Commodores, which is fantastic. We'll discuss that in just a second. However, make sure you check out those
That's
beers.
all I heard.
Those beers, those burgers, that ranch dipping sauce, those chicken wings on Saturdays. Tennessee, Alabama, Vanderbilt are winning the wing war here in Middle Tennessee as we track where all of you SEC football fans, how you're all eating your wings in the city. They are delicious, fantastic, spectacular wings. We go to the East Nashville location probably every weekend. It's fantastic. You should check it out. 2-for-1 beers, great wings, SEC football on TV, NFL on Saturdays. It's fantastic. So go check out M.L. Rose. And I believe Austin Ray, the owner of M.L. Rose, won an award for Best of Nashville, Best Restaurant Empire in Nashville. So there you go. Neighborhood, like because they're all neighborhood pubs. You know, it's a place to go. Bond with your fellow SEC fan. You know,
sit on that, Hattie Bees,
bro. Don't be saying no free shouts. None of that. Vanderbilt. None of that. Look, we're going to talk about Vanderbilt sorority girls.
I didn't say anything. I said that was a shot at them.
Vanderbilt
is a spot to go to.
Vanderbilt sorority girl hot chicken. That's all I heard come out of your mouth. All right. Speaking of Vanderbilt,
that's exactly right.
Here's the thing: were they the better team than Missouri?
No,
I don't think they were. But all that matters is they figured out a way to win the game in ugly fashion at home. They now have wins over LSU. And here's what's interesting to me, Trey, is I'm starting to put together like transitive properties. I know that's not real, but Alabama, Missouri, and Vanderbilt both played pretty well against Alabama, and other teams have not played as well against Alabama. Did we just see 2 of the better teams in the conference play in that Missouri-Vandy game? I know Vandy's got Texas on the road. Arch Manning's in concussion protocol. Missouri's off. But it's possible that we just saw 2 pretty good teams and 2 very good defenses going at it on West End.
I keep going back. Vanderbilt doesn't turn the ball over twice inside the Bama 10-yard line. That game is different. Again, not saying Vanderbilt would have won. I'm just saying the final score. I think we'd be looking. I think some folks would have been looking at Vanderbilt a little bit different coming out of that game. And I told folks at the time, like, calm down. Like, this Vanderbilt squad is out to prove a point. They're not going to sulk in this. They're going to go back to work. What did they do? They went and beat LSU and then Missouri. Like, so who's right in this situation? Not trying to give myself a pat on the back, but
but your arm, but you just pulled a muscle doing it.
That's exactly right. Look,
I think they're gonna go win.
They're going to go beat Texas.
I know.
People can clip this and have it, and if they lose, that's fine. I really don't care.
Anchor down, bitch.
They are playing competitive football, and they're doing it on both sides of the ball. They're also doing it in a sense of that is just the defense is stepping up for the offense. The offense is stepping up for the defense. Like, they're finding ways to win football games, man. Like, I get Missouri was down to their 8th-string quarterback on Saturday. Shout out to Bo Pribula. I pray that he's good. Sounds like he'd be fine, but that ankle, man, when I saw it, I was like, oh, God. I just feel like even though Diego had 1 touchdown, I think a $169, I think, overall.
Yeah, he didn't produce a lot of offense.
What they were, and look, he said it post game. Everybody out there, that little. I'm not trying to give a shout out to that chick on social media, that super fan Alabama that came out and said that he's pretty much a waste of talent, and it was bad. I went after her. I shouldn't have done it on Sunday, but I went after her. She came out and said that because Diego Pavia showed up in a turnt hat on Saturday, that he has no humility. That she's some reporter down in Tuscaloosa. I'm really not trying to give her any pub whatsoever, but she blasted. I'm gonna send it to you. And
I think I saw. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have no idea who it is, but look, the problem is
it's a waste of space.
She is representative of how all the text thread conversations I've had with Tennessee alumni going into the Alabama game. I had a buddy of mine, and again, I love this guy. He's a big Tennessee fan, but he was so offended that Diego Pavia practiced the kneel down before, and I was like, "Do you know how hard it is to get a Tennessee fan to be on the same side of things as Alabama fan? You know how hard that is to do." And I'm just like, there's something about this guy that just drives people bananas. And I think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
I love it. But what was the first word that came out of his mouth on Saturday postgame? I was there. He said, the only reason I'm up here is because I'm the quarterback of the team.
He knew he didn't do jack shit on
Right.
Saturday, deserved to be at that. But that is humility. So
He knows what he's doing.
he showed up in the chain and the turnt hat. Everybody wants to lose their damn mind. Let me tell you something. That kid's a baller. He went down there and scored the game-winning touchdown. He knew he had a bad game. And at the same time, shout out to what Clark and them are doing, because that was a fun football game in the second half.
If they're going to win at Texas, again, Arch Manning, we don't know how good he is, but we don't know how good he would be if he's healthy against this Vanderbilt defense. They're going to have to play the same type of game. It's going to have to be 20-17 on the road, defensive stops, maybe get lucky with a field goal off a goalpost, and then finish a drive in the end zone to win the game. I think they can do it. They're only a 2.5-point underdog. I think they can.
They're going to have to go play the same game that they played at Tuscaloosa, but they're going to have to finish those red zone possessions. Yeah. That's it.
But I don't think Texas. I don't think Texas's defense is there. They're going to get stops. I don't know if Texas's offense is going to do the things that Ty Simpson did in the second half, where they make a couple of big plays. So
because Vanderbilt's defense is a heck of a lot better than Mississippi State's, and that's no shot at Jeff Lebby or anything like that. It's just reality. Clark Lee and them have it going on. I don't see a quarterback. I don't see Arch going out throwing for 220 in the fourth quarter against Vanderbilt.
Yeah. The other stuff going on this weekend is, you got the cocktail party, which I don't know. It's just Georgia just needs to kind of stay the course on this. They're only a 7-point favorite, which is crazy to me.
By the way, last game in Jacksonville for a 3-year span.
Oh, that's right.
Soak it up, fans. Go down there, tear the city up.
If Mississippi State were to lose,
not literally, please, not literally.
That'd be good for content, though. If Mississippi State goes on the road and loses as a 4.5-point underdog to Arkansas, I think there's some chatter around Lebby, although they're improved. If you go Kentucky at Auburn, all these other games outside of one we'll get to are mostly related to hot seat sort of evaluation of coaches, because Kentucky and Auburn are both teams that could be making coaching changes by the end of the year. If Auburn loses at home as a 10-point favorite to Kentucky, I think that's it. You're done,
dude. That's such the trap this weekend. I'm just being dead ass with you, man. If
Kentucky's good on defense.
If Mark Stoops and Kentucky roll down to Auburn and beat Hugh Freeze, dude, they can't call a board of trustees meeting quick enough following that Auburn game to fire Hugh Freeze.
Ole Miss.
Not saying it's going to happen, by the way. I'm just saying that it would be glorious if it did.
Ole Miss probably stays the course, 12.5-point favorite over South Carolina. That would be their 6th loss of the season for South Carolina, which is why we're talking about Beamer looking for a reset in Blacksburg potentially. And so
I just feel like that one is. I hate the whole is their Super Bowl cliche, but last weekend's loss, man, where Alabama just came out of nowhere. I mean, in the way that they were able to win. I have to wonder if the life has been sucked out of that program. I know Beamer will have them ready to go, but what happens if they get down?
No, this is the territory of a preseason team that was supposed to be good. South Carolina, Florida, Auburn, LSU. When you get to that period of time where you look up in the conversations, the standings, and the rankings, and you are not relevant, it's so easy for you to go full Penn State and just start to kind of think about other things. It's so easy. So we'll see what happens, because that's a shame, but it's possible.
What did you think about? Did you see the video where Kalen DeBoer was walking off the field in Columbia with Ryan Williams and Keelan Russell was being talked to by a South Carolina assistant coach, and Kalen went up there real quick, grabbed him, walked away, talked to him, pretty much saying they're trying to get you next year. They know what's coming.
Hey, bud.
Hey, bud. We're not doing that.
All right. Now, this one, though, is a playoff elimination game. Oklahoma at Josh Heupel's Tennessee, the alma mater coming to town.
Ain't no love.
Big deal last year. Josh went out there and got the win. Very emotional. The team played a really, really fundamentally sound. Might have been the best game I've seen them play like in a long time. The problem so again, two teams at 6-2. You got the rivalry angle to all of this. I think Oklahoma, number one, is the better football team, that they are more complete. I have concerns about Tennessee's secondary stopping the passing attack for Oklahoma. That's my concern.
Welcome to the club. I mean, that's just if they don't have Colton Hood this weekend in the secondary as well.
I mean, if Kentucky's throwing long passes against you, like you got problems.
Boys, like I would say Jeremy Bernard was not wrong when he said it could be a field of dreams this weekend for John Deere. But at the same time, Tennessee's offense, in my opinion, is hitting that switch right now. And this could turn out to be a 55-51 game. Like, Just putting it out there.
Okay.
I do think there is last year was personal. I was in Norman for that game, and I'm sitting there listening to Tennessee's locker room play Luke Combs like crazy. Ain't no love in Oklahoma, and that was a monster one. Now they come here, and by the way, don't forget Seth Luttrell is now at Tennessee after being fired. I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah, I hear you.
You load in a night game in that place. I'm expecting 2015 vibes in that stadium, but Baker Mayfield's not the quarterback.
2017. 2017 is the year.
2017. I'm sorry,
I was there, and that is one of my more favorite memories at Neyland Stadium post college. Yeah. Was Baker Mayfield, and now again, my alma mater didn't win, but like watching Baker Mayfield go to work in overtime.
Sterling.
Unbelievable second half. The atmosphere was incredible. The two teams were very good. It was a phenomenal football game. I think this could be better.
Yes, and I 100% agree. And this is a playoff eliminator. This is it. Like
losers done in the playoff.
To an end. Yeah, Saturday night at 11:30. Well, the game's on ABC, so it'll be over around 1 o'clock in the morning. So, right. So I'll get out of there about 3. I do think that this is it for both teams, and the pressure is on. Because I think Oklahoma had an opportunity to win that game against Ole Miss last week. At the same time, like Oklahoma's a good team, even though John Mateer is obviously not
right.
That you can say that thumb injury is okay and all that good jazz, but there's something going on upstairs. He's going to have to break. And he's even admitted that. He said he's not seeing the field. So getting back to it, Saturday night will be an absolute show. Whether you're watching it on television or you're in person, it's going to be a show. And I expect. If Josh Heupel gets an opportunity, man, he's going to try to put 100 on Brent Venables on Saturday night.
I think the defense for Oklahoma is pretty darn good, man.
I do too. No. I'm not taking anything away from Oklahoma. They're going to cause multiple problems for Tennessee. I'm just saying, if there's an opportunity and the dam breaks a little bit for the Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around. I think the dam's going to break for the Tennessee defense, and Brent Venables is going to run it up, is what I think.
What's new? The Tennessee defense, the dam has been broken from the first game. Like, that's not shocking to me. You got Kentucky out here digging on them last week. Like,
yeah. Like that. Again, this is what was interesting about Vandy, Missouri, and then thinking through each of their games against Bama. Like, they were both better against Bama than Tennessee was. Now Tennessee is closer than the score indicated, but like I thought Vanderbilt was they were more toe to toe with Bama than Tennessee was, in my opinion. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see.
But this is it, because look at both of their remaining schedules. I mean, obviously it's a 3 losses and you're out type of deal. But I'm just saying, like,
Oklahoma's schedule is brutal.
This is that game, dude. Like, Tennessee's got to go. I think Tennessee has to go to Florida, and they got to play
Vandy at home.
Vanderbilt, right? Dude, we'll talk about next week, but
please God, have them both be 9-2 going into that game. Winner goes to the playoff, loser goes home.
Praying for that.
Oh man. All right. Last but not least, ML Rose. Let me let you go. Outkick.com, of course, is the website. You can catch all the Trey's work there. Follow him on the Twitter machine as well at Trey Wallace _. You can listen to his podcast. What's it called?
Yeah. The Trey Wallace podcast. Got the CFB roundtable this week. We got into the Velvet Ditch. That is Oxford, Mississippi. No, that's not a backwoods strip club or anything. That is a way that you describe Vanderbilt as you get into the town and you feel like you're being wrapped in velvet because it's so lovely and you don't want to leave.
It's not a strip club out in the sticks. It's a strip club on the square. It's actually behind Square Books. It's actually behind there. You gotta. There's one Grisham novel that when you pull, a door opens and you can slide through into the back.
Is that
all right?
Here's that one alone.
Here's what I want.
Okay.
You have a magic wand, and you have these 6 or 8 coaching jobs at these SEC schools. Some are not open yet, so this is just for fun. This is just for fun.
Okay.
I want you to tell me who's at all these jobs. Who are the coaches you want to see at all these jobs? Like, if I did the exercise, I'd be like Dan Lanning at LSU, Lane Kiffin at Florida. I want to see Rhett Lashley at Arkansas. I want to see John Summerall at Auburn. I want to see Dan Mullen at Ole Miss. I want to see, what does it look like to you? The whole puzzle. I'd love to see Shane Beamer go to Virginia Tech, not because I'm anti South Carolina or Shane Beamer. I just think it's a cool story.
I do too. Okay. Are you going to name the schools? Or do you just want me to go?
So we'll start with the 3 openings: Arkansas, and Florida and LSU.
Okay. I'm going to go. I'm going to think he gets pulled away. So I'm going Rhett Lastly to Arkansas. LSU, I'm going to go. Oh, man, this is hypothetical because I said earlier, but I'll go Lane Kiffin takes LSU. I think Eli Drinkwitz takes Florida.
Okay.
Those are your first three.
So then we
Okay.
have Ole Miss and Missouri.
And this is where John Summerall to Ole Miss.
Okay.
And then I'll go. Man, that was intriguing to me.
Ryan Silverfield.
Oh man, that one stands out to me, brother. Yeah, I'd probably go Ryan to Missouri.
You know who would do a really good job at Missouri? Willie Fritz would do.
Yeah,
I
know. Missouri is that tricky spot for me, man. Like it really is. I'll say this: somebody in the SEC, in my opinion, if it's not Virginia Tech, and I know Virginia Tech and James Franklin have been talking about that opening.
That's a good spot for Franklin to go.
Yes. Somebody's going to. If Virginia Tech and James Franklin doesn't work out, and I'm not saying they're even close, but I am saying that there's been communication. James Franklin will end up at the SEC. I'm curious to see which job in the SEC he would take.
Yeah. Okay. And then so if Auburn comes open, who's going to Auburn?
They damn sure ain't Lane Kiffin. See, that's where I'd have to flip because if Auburn comes open and Ole Miss comes open, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Summerall could pick Auburn or that one.
Pat Fitzgerald to Kentucky.
If Auburn opens up, I'm going to go right now and say James Franklin.
I like that. That is perfect. That's a marriage made in heaven.
James Franklin to Auburn.
South Carolina and Kentucky are both open.
Kenny Dillingham to South Carolina.
Okay.
Kentucky.
I like Matt Campbell.
Russ Probst.
Matt Campbell and Pat Fitzgerald are both good options at Kentucky.
I think Pat Fitzgerald's about to hop back in this thing, and I think that a school like Kentucky would work, or he knows how to fit the system here between basketball, football.
Oh, Urban Meyer at LSU would be pretty awesome.
Damn it! I know, man. I know, dude. Like in even
Kiffin to LSU
3-year deal. Like
Kiffin to LSU and Drinkwitz to Florida is just too easy to predict.
It is, but don't you think
it makes perfect sense?
Wrap it up. It makes too much sense. There's going to be a candidate, guys. I'm just warning folks out there watching. This is about to be 2021.
It is Dan Lanning. I'm telling you, Scott Woodward hired Jimbo Fisher. He gave him that contract. Scott Woodward lured Brian Kelly. He went and got Jay Johnson. He likes big time shit. And Dan Lanning is a big time gangster move.
There is a coach that we are not talking about in the media that is going to take either this LSU or Florida job that you're going to be like, holy shit, it happened.
Dan Lanning said no to Bama. So why would he say yes to LSU? It's all about timing. He didn't want to be the guy after the guy at Alabama. And the number of jobs that are better than Oregon right now, you can count on one hand. And LSU's on that hand. Yes. That's the difference. I don't know if Penn State is. I don't know if Florida is.
No.
But I know LSU is.
Georgia and LSU. And LSU.
Ohio State.
Texas. I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I just thought we were talking about.
I think it's only those four. Yeah. It's Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and LSU.
Hey, and the whole Texas thing. I know that they wanted to come out and rebuke Diana Rossini, but all I'm saying is keep an eye out on Texas.
I have been around Diana Rossini when she's reporting at Titans camp. She has good sources.
Oh, I know that. I'm saying just the rebuttal from CAA. They just that felt a little.
It was a little too firm.
A little too firm. While Jimmy Sexton was standing on the stage next to Miss Terry at College Game Day and typing up, "How am I going to get this out there?" And then, by the way, he's on the field post game with Clark Lee. I'm just don't think Texas is over with yet. I think Georgia starting quarterback Arch Manning.
I just hope Clark Lee. I've seen his name mentioned for some of these jobs. I hope Clark Lee stays put and sees this whole thing through, because I think Vanderbilt can pay him. It's his alma mater. He deserves to be here for 15 years and be the greatest coach of all time. He does.
Can I give one PSA to Vanderbilt fans? Stop blowing up my damn mentions every time that I mention Clark Lee. It's a good thing that your coach is getting mentioned. I think Vanderbilt's about to pay Clark Lee. They're taking care of the NIL. I think he ends up staying in Nashville, but it's not a bad thing to have your coach being talked about. That goes to show you how good your school is. Welcome to the coaching search club, Vanderbilt fans.
Indiana, same thing.
Good Lord, man. Clark Lee's not leaving. He's a Nashville native. And stop, man. Good
we all
Lord.
have a number. We all have a number.
Yes.
We all have a number. All right. Outkick.com. You can check out all of Trey's work there. Don't destroy his mentions, Vanderbilt fans. Anchor down, of course, to Eddie.
I was just there in Nashville supporting Vanderbilt in a way. Like, come on, stop.
All you folks for listening, thank you so much for hanging out. This is what we're going to try this new time slot on Wednesdays, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central time. We're going to try that out. You can catch up all of our other great coverage around the Tennessee Titans, the NFL, Nashville SC, Nashville Predators, all other Nashville products as well. So make sure you check out M.L. Rose and all the other good products across the network. For Trey, I'm Brandon. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the weekend. We got playoff rankings next week we'll talk about. Peace and love, everybody.